What is up? What is up? We are here. It has been a long 14 weeks, especially for Danny and I in the Flock League, but we are now officially into the playoff weeks, the time that matters most to you guys. I'm sure you got a lot of sweats going. I'm sure you got, excitement building towards your home league playoffs if you guys were fortunate enough to make it. This is the first year in a little bit that I did not make the playoffs in my home league, so feels a little bit bad about that, but excited for the best ball sweats, excited for the, dynasty leagues that I'm in the playoffs with. This is a rather boring week for me. I don't know about you, but I'm either out of the playoffs or have buys in like 90% of my leagues, it feels like.
One of the leagues I don't have a buy that I made the playoffs in, we could potentially have a nice little FSC battle in the semifinal of the redraft league. That would be fucking fun.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. And also, too, if you happen to lose in the Flock League to Badake, we would go head-to-head next week as well in the toilet bowl bracket, which would be probably good content, to be honest. I'm kind of rooting for that just because I think it would be funny.
It would suck, though, that one of us would be guaranteed to have to wear the T-shirt. Hopefully, it just doesn't have to come to that.
No, not necessarily.
Really?
Yeah, because we talked about the structure is that it's going to be because Tom is in the week 16 toilet bowl. What we're going to do is there's going to be 3 creators guaranteed, because one of Sal and Nathan and one of you and Badake is going to join me in the week 16 semifinal. And then all you have to do is not come in, or like if you come in first in terms of overall points scored in week 16, then you don't have to play in the week 17 final. And then the remaining 2 creators would be in there. So technically we wouldn't actually be going head to head in week 16. We would also be facing one of Nathan or Sal as well. And then the loser of that would be facing the other, maybe we'd go head to head in week 17 if we're both the lowest scoring too, but
that'd be fun.
Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to a lot of questions today. We, at the end of the stream around, 12:50 or whatever, we'll flash our rankings for those of you guys that need to see them, who don't get your questions answered. I know it's a really important time. So we want to make sure that we do get some of you guys some answers, even if we're not able to get to all these questions, but we do have lots of site questions here. So let's get right to it. Roll Prieto. I don't ask me to pronounce names. We have pick 3.
This is Rolando, no?
Yeah, it is. It's like a weird spelling there. Anyways, 3 wide receivers, he says, with the safest floor and most upside. Well, wouldn't that be a dandy combination if that was the formula?
I mean, that is an extremely ideal wide receiver, I will say. All jokes aside, though, I mean, if we're looking at this, DJ Moore's are going to be your number 1. I think you just go Moore, Downs, and Devontae.
Yeah, I think that the decision point for me, I actually have Downs ahead of Devontae, so it would be between Devontae and Mooney for me this week. Mooney's got the better matchup for sure. You also probably have the volume on the favor of Mooney as well, given how the Eagles are operating.
Stat on that, I actually talked about it in the wide receiver rankings tier list. I've mentioned to you before that, the Eagles have a very low passing volume output. And it's actually funny because I remember we were talking about it even going into the year that, like, I thought they were going to be like a really run-heavy offense with Barkley. And, dude, the way their defense has been playing, the way Barkley has been playing, it's made sense why they've done it.
Yeah.
They are averaging 3 passing attempts less per game than any other team in the NFL. And I was looking at it. So their current pass split on the pass split on the year, basically the percentage of plays they are throwing the football, is 43.47%, if I remember correctly. We have not seen a number that low since the 2009 Jets. We have not seen a lesser passing volume team in 15 years than this year's Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, no, it's funny because was it 2022 that the Eagles also went
2021, I believe,
heavy as well, and then the next year. They were more like of a middle of the pack type of pass to run split. So they've kind of fluctuated a little bit. I guess the DNA is that they do tend to want to just get to a really run heavy offense. But like you said, how good their defense is playing, the way that Barkley is playing, also the way that quietly that Jalen Hurts is playing as well. It makes sense to kind of shield him from how he's been playing.
AJ Brown said it without saying it. When he says the passing game needs improvement,
there's one guy that passes the football. Direct shot.
He didn't say that we need to throw the ball more. Like he said, our passing game needs improvement.
No, exactly. So let's weigh the pros and cons here. Mooney versus Smith, to me, is the decision point. Mooney has played better than Smith lately because his offense is actually throwing the football, and the Raiders are really bad. Like the Giants obviously are too, but the Giants are Or not the Giants, sorry. The Eagles are playing. Who are the Eagles playing? I'm literally losing track.
The Eagles are playing the Steelers.
Steelers. Okay, so that's a closer matchup. That's a better defense.
24 implied points at home. The thing that gets me, though, is this would feel like a squeaky wheel type of game where after A.J. Brown presses about the passing game, they actually throw the ball 30 times.
But wouldn't that be a squeaky wheel game for A.J. Brown?
But, like, if they throw the ball 30 times, I think both benefit because Goddard's not in the lineup, too. So, like,
they could.
I do have Smith slightly higher, but, like, it's not like I have Smith where he should be as a top 20 level wide receiver. I have him at 31 this weekend. It's funny because when we did the receiver draft, I've lowered Smith since that happened. I picked him in that draft because it's kind of like, well, Devontae Smith, near superstar level talent. Like, I feel like this is where he got to go off the board, but I lowered him in my rankings. So I'm like, I got to be honest with myself. If this is this low type of passing volume, it's maybe A.J. Brown, and that's it in the passing game for now until we see it. But like I said, I think because they went to the media this week, we could see that be corrected a little bit. On top of that, I mean, the Steelers aren't going to roll over and die. The Steelers are going to put up a fight in this game. They're trying to go for a bye week, or not a bye week, but
they're securing their division because Baltimore's probably going to beat the Giants.
That's what I mean, right? So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's more hopium. I get it, but at the same time, there's got to be a game where it fixes itself. That's where I'm at with it.
I'm playing Mooney here. I'm playing Mooney.
Yeah, I mean, it's 31 versus 33 for me. Like,
they're back to back. Am I right? I have them 34 and 35 or something like that, but I would play Mooney.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm thinking Mooney's probably the fucking process play.
He's got just as good of a target share as Smith. Cousins is obviously playing terrible, but I don't think Cousins versus the Raiders in like a doubleheader Monday night. Doesn't that just scream a Kirk Cousins bounce back game?
Yeah, I'm gonna make that adjustment, man. Like, I was wrong. I've had Smith a little too high here, and it's crazy that I'm saying that about a guy that I have at 31. But that's
dude, Smith is one of the best receivers in the league, but like you can't. It's so bad, like the way that the offense is operating right now. And I actually tend to think that Barkley will have success running the ball in this game too. So they're probably going to stick, even if it's like a squeaky wheel game for A.J. Brown. I still don't think we're going to get a 40 pass attempt game from the Eagles here.
No, like at this point, you're hoping that they throw the ball 30 times, and that's about league like not even about league average, that is below league average. A 30 pass attempt per game type of offense is like what the Detroit Lions are this year. And how many times have I said this year that the reason why Amon-Ra St. Brown has not been the same player, 17.4 PPR points per game versus over 20 last year, is because of the passing volume, and because when it's a lessened passing volume, again, keep in mind, I know it's not a Lions discussion. The Lions were throwing the ball over 35 times per game last year. They're throwing it 30.2 this year. And on top of that, because Jameson Williams has emerged, Amon-Ra is not the 30% target share guy. He's more of the mid-20s guy. So that's why you've seen, again, 17.4 points per game. That's still like a strong mid-end wide receiver one. But that's kind of why I can't put him up there with like the Chase, the Nico and stuff, because the volume just simply isn't what it was last year. And it's crazy that we're talking about that as being a positive regression point for the Eagles right now.
Yeah, no, the fluctuation you can have from, things breaking right for somebody I talked about coming into the year, how last year the things broke right for the Cowboys to have CeeDee Lamb have like a legendary season, because not only was he playing like a first team All-Pro, Dak was playing like a first team All-Pro. And for whatever reason, some offense or some defenses couldn't take him away. Whereas like sometimes that was my concern with Lamb a little bit. It was like, our team's going to figure out how to kind of slow Lamb down a little bit because there's no other threats in that offense.
I'll tell you right now, and I'm going to have over 20% of CeeDee Lamb next year if he's anything past the 105.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, it's crazy how much the same talented player can fluctuate just based on a little micro detail. Like their offense isn't throwing the ball a little bit more because their defense is a lot better, which is what I would say the Eagles and Lions are going through right now, because their defenses are better than they were last year.
And I feel at this point we've learned, like, there's probably 5 or 6 wide receivers that are just like above the pack. And at this point, I think those guys, Jefferson, Chase, Lamb, A.J. Brown, and I'm missing 2 more. Here, let me look at my rankings. Sorry, I was just doing that off the dome. Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, and I think Puka Nacua has worked his way into there at this point. I think Puka Nacua is the top 6 receiver in the league. So I think next year, any of those guys can be the number one, and any of those guys can have a 24-plus point per game year. It's just about getting lucky on which one it is. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. It's you pretty much, like last year, you didn't get lucky on, the fact that Jefferson was dealing with an injury, or, St. Brown, you haven't gotten lucky on the fact that he's got a little bit lower passing volume. But Chase, you got the stars are aligning. He's kind of having the nutted season.
He's averaging 5 PPR points per game more than any other wide receiver in the NFL. Now, context-wise, if you do take out the games that Nico played less than 50% of the snaps, he's actually at about 22 points per game. But every other wide receiver in fantasy is under 20, and Chase is at 24.5.
Yeah, and would we have been shocked this year if Chase was a 17 point per game receiver or whatever? Like he could have fluctuated to that area. Anyways, we're just yapping at this point. McBride or Bowers at tight end. It's crazy that you have my number 1 and 2 tight end here on the week, and
you used your flex on Jennings.
I wouldn't have done that.
I would have played both tight ends.
I would have definitely played both tight ends as well.
And on top of that, if you're going to play a wide receiver on Thursday, you got to play him in the wide receiver spot. You can't put him in the flex because of this.
Yeah, no, exactly. So if you have
Bowers for me,
I guess if you have to play one of these guys, you're going Bowers over McBride here?
Yeah, I am going Bowers again. Obviously, it is very close. I'm pretty sure I have these guys 1 and 2 at
they're 1 and 2 for me as well. I also have Bowers 1.
Yeah, the reason why I do. Oh, by the way, Njoku got confirmed to be out.
He was.
Morning.
Yeah, he got. I had him ranked basically like he was going to be anyways. Because Mary Kay Cabot on Wednesday said like he's probably not going to play.
The last one I saw though is that like he was trying last second to play, but it just doesn't sound like he was able to make it. So I'm just noticing that because I actually have him in a playoff matchup this week. And I have Jonnu Smith on my bench, so I'm just going to sub him in. But with Bowers, the other factor too is, Jacoby Myers has been banged up. Again, he is going to be playing in this game. I don't have concerns in that regard, but he was limited in practice this week. So I believe it was the ankle injury he was dealing with. So if he's limited at all in the game, again, I'm not saying that's a completely deciding factor, but we could see, again, Brock Bowers has the upside to have a 15 target game, and so does McBride, but at least Brock Bowers has scored touchdowns this year.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. In Flock Me Silly right now, I have the decision between Sincere McCormick or Elijah Moore with no Tillman and no Njoku.
You got to go more.
Kind of intriguing, but I have heard that people have said stuff about like weather concerns and whatnot about that Chiefs and Browns game. I saw Matt, the FF Dynasty, I think his Twitter handle is. He always does like a weather report every Sunday morning. So check him out over on Twitter. But he had like a 5 out of 10 concern for that game because it's supposed to be cold and kind of windy and maybe a little bit of rain, like freezing rain or whatever.
It is a 1 p.m. game, which is good because usually you see the rain really come down like at 4 at the night game. 1 p.m. game makes it like at least a little bit more projectable, but sorry, I'll let you continue. My bad.
Yeah, I still think I'm going to go with McCormick over Moore just because I think the touches are probably good there. It's also like my second flex too. Like it's not really that consequential of a decision, but I just thought now that Njoku is out, maybe it's a little bit closer.
Yeah. I mean, full PPR league, I might go Elijah Moore just because we know even if there's weather concerns, Jameis Winston, outside of one like complete rainstorm against the Steelers, has thrown the ball 40 plus times every game. And even in the game against the Steelers, again, we saw weather concerns in that game to the highest degree, like 10 out of 10 concern. The game was a blizzard by the second quarter, if you remember that Thursday night game, right? Yeah. And he threw the ball 28 times, I believe.
Yeah, so I think we have RB premiums in this league too, though. So that helps a little bit for McCormick's side of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, we're going Bowers in this question here. Yep. KDAB98 says, need to pick 3 running backs out of these 4. Rico is out right now. So I agree that Rico is the odd man out slightly. I have Brian Robinson 1 spot higher, but these guys are all top 16 running backs in my rankings. So
I have a big difference between Dowdle and Jones.
Dowdle and Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love Jones this week. I have him second of this group.
I have Dowdle at 13. I mean, for what it's worth, I would say from Dowdle to even 24. I have James Cook at 24 this week because that's how loaded running back is.
Oh, yeah. There's like, I don't know, a solid 20 plays that are just like really, really good at running back. I have
Dowdle at 13.
Yeah, no, that doesn't, I don't think that's outrageous by any means. I like Jones a little bit more. He had a 21-point performance against Chicago like 3 weeks ago, and they're so bad against the run, and they're also very strong against the pass. So I think it profiles quite well for Jones game.
Obviously, I'll make the case for Dowdle. I mean, fucking the Cowboys fan, of course, but hear me out. I mean, it's not a hard case to make on that regard. They're playing the easiest run funnel defense in the league. and we are seeing a workhorse role for Dowdle. So that's where I default to. Again, he's my 13. I do have him the actual second out of this group. I would have it in order: Bijan at 4, Rico at 13, Brian Robinson at 16. And like I said, I do have Jones at 23, but like I said, 13 to 24. The difference between Dowdle and James Cook this week is very minute. And that's a 13 versus 24 ranking.
Yeah. So
Dowdle would be my
Jones is the one you're sitting here then?
In my rankings, I would. But if you have him at second, it sounds like that the odd man out would be Brian Robinson between us.
I have Brian Robinson third, and he's ahead of Dowdle for me.
I have Dowdle second, and he's at 13 overall.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the odd man out is Brian Robinson. I don't know. The
way B-Rob's third for me too, for the record.
All three of these guys have excellent matchups. I mean, I guess Bijan's the easy one that you're not sitting here, but Rico has the Carolina Panthers.
I don't want to sit any of these guys.
Yeah, I don't want to sit any of these guys either. Rico is technically the only one of these three running backs that is an underdog. The other two guys are pretty heavy favorites, and they're both at home too, I believe. Yeah. The Commanders and maybe the Commanders are on the road, but the Vikings are at home against the Bears. Yeah. Again, I don't want to sit any of these guys, but I guess consensus-wise, we'd probably be sitting Brian Robinson, even though I would prefer him to Dowdle, just because B-Rob was so good to start the season, first like 4 or 5 weeks of the year. Then he started getting banged up, and now he's coming off of a bye, and he finally has a little bit of rest now with no Austin Eckler and a top 3 matchup as well.
I will say, though, with Dowdle, so in his last 3 games, he's gotten 22, 25, and 20.
Oh, yeah, his opportunities. I detailed it in the running back tier list. He's had an awesome run out so far the last couple of weeks, and back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, too.
Dude, I think Rico Dowdle's a really solid running back, and people are going to say, like, obviously, again, the Cowboys should draft a running back to compete for touches, don't get me wrong. But the people that are saying the Cowboys are desperate for a running, Rico Dowdle's been fucking good this year.
He's averaging
4.9 yards per carry.
You're drafting Genty. We all know it.
Again, I wouldn't be opposed to that. When you get a special look at what Saquon Barkley's on the Eagles. Again, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, if you told me coming into the year that by week 12, Rico Dowdle would have over 700 rushing yards and average almost 4.9 yards per carry behind an inconsistent at best offensive line for the Cowboys. I mean, credit to him, dude, for what he's been through in his career. 4 straight years of never getting a or 3 straight years, without getting a true role. Was the backup to Tony Pollard last year. Just seeing the steps he's taken as a player, man. It's funny enough, by the way, he has 4 touchdowns on the year and 3 of them are in the receiving game.
Yeah, that is kind of a wild stat. Maybe he should give some to Trey McBride. This is Charbonnet, right, for you? Are you playing? You're playing Charbonnet over Dowdle and Taylor?
The difference is Charbonnet, we saw a workhorse role last week, but it's also a better projectable offense this week.
Yeah, so. And as much as I want to get Dowdle or JT in your lineup, they're both top 18 running backs for me on the week. I have Chuba Hubbard at 13 and Charbonnet at 11. So yeah,
I have Charbonnet at 8.
Hubbard at 8 or Charbonnet?
No, Charbonnet at 8.
Yeah, no, they're both excellent plays there. So Snubs, the next question we got here, thoughts on Waddle, Tracy, or Addison for the last flex? So quarterback, you're going Herbert over Goff here?
I'm going Herbert. Again, it is a little bit concerned that he's been banged up with the leg injuries. I dropped him a little bit just because the overall volume of the passing offense has kind of gone to decline in these last couple of weeks, but he's still my quarterback 12 on the week. Whereas with Jared Goff, I do kind of have him buried. Again, it is a run funnel Buffalo defense. We have seen at points this year where the Lions, just like the Eagles, will throw the ball 24 times. It'll be efficient, but it's not good for a fantasy quarterback when they're also not giving you rushing productions like Jalen Hurts. The reason why Jalen Hurts is so good in fantasy is that he's getting the tush pushes, he's rushing the football. Jared Goff has been Jalen Hurts without the rushing capability.
Yeah, exactly. And this, I don't know a better matchup for Montgomery and Gibbs than a run funnel Buffalo defense. You know what I mean? Like this does totally strike me as Jared Goff throws for 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. But Montgomery and Gibbs have 4 touchdowns combined.
He goes like 22 for 26, like just a lot of like little short game. Yeah. By the way, fun fact, last month of the year, Jared Smola tweeted this out. Again, I don't want to come off as an Amon-Ra hater. I think he's a really good player.
You are an Amon-Ra hater, though.
I guess I am, because like if the consensus is that he's an elite top 3 guy, I just don't believe that's the case. So Smola tweeted this out in the last month of the year. So the last 4 weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 23% target share. Jamison Williams, 21% target share. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 27% first rate target share. Jamison Williams, 24% first rate target share. So The gap's kind of been closing in this last month or so.
Circumstantial. I'm not really worried.
I don't disagree overall. I mean,
you realize last time you said that St. Brown wasn't that good, he had like a 36-point fantasy day, right?
I have him in the FSC listener league, so I wouldn't complain about that.
I also don't hate this take either. I think that there's very high possibility that JMO has a long touchdown today. If you guys are out there looking for a anytime touchdown bet to make or a receiving yards bet or something like that. Who are you going between Tracy? I'm assuming Goff isn't a part of this, but Tracy, Waddle, and Addison, which one are you going with here?
That's so close between Tracy and Addison, man.
I have Waddle the highest of this group.
I have Addison a good, it's okay. I have Waddle high. Don't get me wrong. I think this is in store for an Addison complete bomb. And I think this, Addison is my answer. The reason why. So Data Roma actually tweeted this out as well. Obviously, Jordan Addison, hot stretch, 4 touchdowns in the last 6 games, over 19 PPR points per game in that stretch. He's been fantastic. But specifically against this Bears defense, this stat, they've run the second most cover 3 in the NFL since week 7, 47.7% of the time. And Jordan Addison against cover 3 specifically, 3.26 yards per route run, 0.119 first downs per route run, 30.9% first read target share.
That's crazy.
If this is screaming to me like, oh, Jordan Addison has the opportunity to be the league winner down the stretch that nobody saw coming based off where he was in week 7.
It's wild to me that this is the Addison, that this is the player Addison has turned into in the NFL. Because I didn't really.
Him and Jaden Reed have been like this.
I didn't think downfield big play receiver was necessarily his best trait, but it has been in the NFL. I thought he would be, which is also good news for the rest of his game and as he gets developed as a player, because I actually thought
he'd be like Smitty.
Yeah, I thought he'd be a lot better in the short to intermediate game than he's been. And he kind of still needs to grow that part of his game, and he's probably learning from the best short to intermediate receiver in the league. So that definitely helps him. But yeah, so if you want to go Addison, I can capitulate to it. But it's funny because the reason I love Waddle a lot too, for the record. The reason I love Waddle this week is like the same exact rationale as I love Addison, which is the starting outside receiver is expected to see shadow coverage from Jalen Johnson and from Derek Stingley, respectively. But Tua is playing so well right now. If Tyreek
so is Sam Darnold.
I know. If Tyreek is taken even remotely out of this game, I think Waddle could catch a 75-yard touchdown. I personally would go Waddle here.
Can I convince you on a tiebreaker?
What's that?
Jordan Addison was on the thumbnail yesterday.
He was on the thumbnail yesterday, but
where do you have them ranked respectively?
I have Waddle at 33 and Addison at 36.
Oh, you are way lower on both of them than me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I have ahead of them that are just like matchups stack up pretty well for them. Like I have like Amari Cooper like aggressively ranked given the game environment this week.
I can't over Addison and Waddle. So I have Addison at 20 and Waddle at 27.
Oh wow, so you have both of these guys.
I love both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna go Addison based on the tiebreaker here.
Yeah, like at the end of the day in the fantasy playoffs at this point, you gotta trust big ceiling guys and great.
Waddle is the same exact case. He has the big ceiling.
I agree. That's what I mean. I have Waddle. I have Waddle higher than consensus. We were actually mentioning, I believe it was Gio who tweeted at us for the start sit. I have Adam Thielen in my top 30 this week. Adam Thielen has had 21 targets.
So I'm
21 targets the last 2 games. I mean, you're going down the board. Like I still like Jameson Williams, who I have at 30. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. at 31 this week, because that's how loaded wide receiver is right now.
Yeah. And I have like Zay Flowers, Calvin Ridley, Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf, like as low end wide receiver 2s in my rankings right now, but all the way down to Addison, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith, Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, Adam Thielen, all those guys, they're all very similar. It's like whatever one you pick is probably going to be incorrect realistically. Like they're all really good options. But yeah, let's roll with Addison on snubs here. We got to get through some more questions.
Yeah.
Given 9427, we got quarterback Sam Darnold versus Knicks. I have Knicks higher than Darnold this week. I don't know about you.
Wait, Peanut, I got a review done on Thursday and was told I would get a voucher, but Danny said I didn't have an account, so but I do. Okay, so when I was going through it, I searched him on the back end, but I couldn't find him. Here,
let me take a look. What's your username?
Yeah,
Peanut Gallery. He says.
Yeah,
right here, right?
Peanut Gallery on Flock. Again, maybe it just it wouldn't show up, but when I literally searched to give you a free voucher because he gave a little tip on top of the review. And I couldn't find it. Here, let me go. Yeah, because that's what he's referencing. When you were at the Leafs game, I was going through it, and because he gave me gave us a little tip, I said I'd give him a voucher, but it wouldn't let me. So
yeah, for some reason, I don't see it on the back end either. Peanut Gallery, if you don't have a Flock account, that could be why.
That's
like
why.
if you just signed I mean, you should have a Flock account, but if you've never used a subscription, I got to ask like Mason and the devs why this sometimes doesn't show up. Like it doesn't show up on our back end for some reason. Maybe you've never been a subscriber to the site. Even if you just want to sign up for a free trial and cancel just so that you're in the system, then we can give you a review that way. But I think that is the issue. And I'm going to talk to the devs. If that's the issue, we should tell the devs, like, if they submit a question, they should be in as a Flock user, just so we can give out vouchers or whatever. And yes, Nemesis says, I think Nick's Bush said he has
quarterback 9 for me. I believe
it's quarterback 9 in my rankings. So
quarterback 9 for me as well.
Yeah. So Nick's would be my preference there. Running back, we got Mixon is in your lineup. You got Charbonnet is in your lineup.
Hey, hear me out. Those are two fucking great running backs this week. Hopefully they go off because I need that for my big dog. I have Charbonnet, I have Mixon, I have James Cook as my main 3 guys.
Holy shit. Oh, dude, that's so unfortunate that you played Cooper Kupp here because you got St. Brown, Collins, and Lamb. Oh, man. Okay, so St. Brown's my highest ranked given the game environment.
You could play all of them. Yeah,
no, he can't though because he played Cup already, so he's got to sit Lamb.
Put Lamb in the flex.
You're gonna put Lamb in the flex over Hubbard?
Lamb's my wide receiver 6 this week.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I
have Lamb over Amon-Ra, but I'll capitulate there if we get both in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean you're an Amon-Ra hater. That's why I have St. Brown at 2.
Not really,
dude. A 54.5 point over under game, bro. You are high if you're not putting Amon-Ra like 2 or 1 this week.
He's 8 for me, dude.
That's wild.
He's at 26% target share on a 30 pass attempt per game offense, and we've seen Jameson Williams, like I said, really cut into his workload. If you're arguing Amon-Ra at 2, you better have Jameson Williams in your top 20.
I do not have. It's not that I don't like Jameson Williams. It's that there's like a million good receivers that are.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying if you're going to have Amon-Ra at 2, given their usage respectively between them, you have to be ranking Jameson Williams aggressively because, like I said, in the last month of the year, they have been virtually identical.
Yeah, so you must have like Jacoby Myers and like those guys like dirt napped then if you have all these guys ranked really high.
Well, I did rank them a little bit more pessimistic because they were
like Judy too. You must have Judy like really low.
I have Judy at 23.
Okay, so I have him lower than you. Like who do you not have ranked high? I guess you probably have Shakir. You always hate Shakir. You probably have Shakir at like 40.
I'm at 38.
Yeah, that's too low, bro. He gets way too many targets for that.
I think he's a fine projection. I just think there's a lot of guys with high ceilings this week. That's where it comes down.
There is, but Shakir is the number 1 receiver in a fucking 55 point over under game.
I have Amari Cooper ranked higher than him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
14 targets on 53% of the snaps last week, and he could finally actually see a full-time snap share this week.
Why do you think I have Cooper ranked really aggressely? I like both of them. They're both top 30 receivers for me.
Again, it's not even just hate to Shakir. Like to be fair, I had locked Debo ahead of him. That's
I have Debo thankfully I had Debo at 39. So
I'm at 37, so he got locked in there. I have Keenan Allen higher, pass funnel Vikings defense. Is going to be blitz heavy in this game.
No way.
Dude,
not in the game environment that the fucking Bills and Lions are about to play in.
He had 23 points last time they played Minnesota. He had 15 targets in that game. And as we know with Minnesota, they're going to be a blitz happy defense. Keenan Allen's going to play the slot receiver role. He had 15 targets last time they played.
It's probably trivial to argue these guys, to be honest.
They're all fucking like this.
That are all comparable, yeah.
Yeah, like, and then if we're going through the rest, like Devontae Smith, Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, Josh Downs, Marvin Harrison, James, like, genuinely, once you get to, I have Adam Thielen at 28, and then like you said, Khalil Shakir at 38. They are put them in a fucking hat. Like seriously.
Yeah, I have Downs like way higher than you, I guess.
Yeah, I have Downs at 32. He does have the easiest matchup on the field, but overall, Denver collectively against the pass has been good.
Yeah, that's true. I just Downs has just been so good, man. Like it's so hard to like sit the guy.
Well, I think what I have noticed in our rankings is you like a lot more stability guys, and I like the guys that have like the higher ceilings. I will say like that. That's how we've normally ranked them. I've noticed.
It bugs me that I had Juwan Jennings lock in at 25 in my rankings.
Buddy, you don't think it bothers me? I had him at 18.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I mean, he had 9 targets. If you told me he had 9 targets in that game environment going into the game, I would have been like, yeah, that's probably a top 18 guy. He just only caught 2 of them for 31 yards, so it looks awful.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I put McBride in over Jonnu. I'm assuming you agree on that. So
yeah.
We can.
Jonnu's at 6, but McBride's at 2. So
yeah. Michael says somehow didn't get a bye week with this team. Help. Okay, so Bo Nix is the quarterback. You only give us the one option there. Yeah, that's insane that you didn't get a bye week. Flex option, you got Dowdle. I mean, you got to probably play Chase Brown over Dowdle, but
dude,
those are
what?
I love Dowdle. That's why I'm saying you got to probably play Chase. Like I like Dowdle's such a great play this week, but yeah, you got to play Chase Brown.
Okay, let's look at this. So I have, funny enough, actually, Chase Brown, who's the flex decision here, is actually the highest ranked of the running backs I have. Although I have Chase Brown at 5, Devon Achane at 6, and Gibbs at 9. But the only reason I have Gibbs at 9 is because I also have Montgomery at 14. So like that's just the opportunity share. But if you told me Gibbs was the RB1 overall this week, I wouldn't be shocked. It's just because he's going to get 80% of the workload of Charbonnet, Jacobs, Achane, Chase Brown, Bijan, Mixon, Henry, and Barkley. That's why I have him at 9. I don't want to because I know he could break the fucking slate.
Yeah, no, I actually have Gibbs. I have Gibbs at 4, so he's the highest of this trio of running backs for me. I value the matchup in the game. Like I guess a theme of my rankings this week is that like literally anybody in the Detroit Lions Buffalo game is just fucking absolutely fired up my rankings because I think we're gonna get a barn burner.
Yeah, obviously we got a solid little start there from Puka, about nearly 18 PPR points there.
I mean, if you were going to play one Thursday night player, I mean, Puka was the one that you wanted. So,
yeah. By the way, thankfully, I did not have to play Puka in my pod. And the only Thursday night players that were rostered were Kyron, Kittle, Purdy, and Petersall, I believe, if I recall.
Yeah, I feel bad because I think when I look at my advancing teams, I think I had like 14% Cup, which sucks. Who had a 0, obviously.
Oh, Mike said he also has Kyler. Mike, so he's in here. Mike, if you have Kyler, I actually do have Kyler slightly higher than Nick's.
I have them 8 and 9 respectively. Yeah. They're literally 1 spot difference. But if you do have Kyler instead of Nick's, then yeah, I would also go with Kyler as well.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams and no starter, I guess. So yeah, Caleb Williams is your best option there.
So the Dynasty League.
Flexes, you got David Montgomery, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Reed. I have Montgomery.
Top 2 running backs for me is the nails. For me, it's those top 2 running backs. They're nails.
I would play Neighbors over Dowdle, but
we got to make that bet then.
It's close. It's close. It's a top 12 receiver versus a top.
Ooh, wait, you have Neighbors at top 12?
I have him at 12. Yeah.
I'm at 22. And the reason why I am terrified about Tommy DeVito, again, it's a 14 implied point offense.
16 underdog, 16-point underdogs.
It's gone up to 16. When I recorded the video, it was at 14 and a half.
16 and a half right now.
They are 16 and a half point underdogs at home.
Yeah, it's insane.
So that means the implied line, if they were in Baltimore, would be nearly 23 points.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I think I just Neighbors has 14 plus targets in any game that a Giants quarterback has thrown more than 40 pass attempts. And if we get a lot of pass attempts in this game, like Neighbors is going to have like a shit ton of targets.
This is no hate to Neighbors. I talked about in the wide receiver rankings video. He is averaging 11.5 targets per game, which is more than what Cooper Kupp averaged in his Triple Crown year. But that is just how much I love Dowdle in this matchup. Again, very much run funnel Carolina defense. We're going to see a competitive game environment. We know he gets receiving work. If you told me one guy is going to win the week for me, I would put my money on Rico Dowdle because although Neighbors is consistent with
the better player is always the one who's going to win you the week, in my opinion.
But when you're getting 20 opportunities against that Carolina run defense, that's where I lean. Neighbors, again,
we're going to pretend like Baltimore's pass defense isn't the easiest matchup too.
I love Neighbors. What's his touchdown equity in this game versus what's Rico Dowdle's in this game?
I mean, it's whatever he can do himself, probably, but Neighbors is that good. He could catch a 5-yard screen pass and take it 80 yards. Like that's why I would play him. It's the matter of who's the better player the spike week. They're both excellent plays this week, but I would play Neighbors.
For the record, so I have Rico at 13 and Neighbors at wide receiver 22. Where do you have them respectively?
Okay, hold on the phone for a second. I'm playing Neighbors over Brian Thomas with ease. With ease.
Oh, do you want to capitulate with Neighbors and Dowdle and kicking BTJ out?
B Tom to the bench. Like I'm playing Neighbors over B Tom any day of the week.
Yeah. Okay. We could do that. I do have BTJ a couple spots higher, but at the same time, it's like That's the capitulation we make here, because I have Rico a lot higher than where I do Brian Thomas anyway. So
yeah, like the matchup for Neighbors and Thomas are the same exact type of play. Only Neighbors gets more targets. I still think Neighbors is better, even though Thomas is having a great rookie season too.
Mac Jones is a lot better than Tommy DeVito though.
Yes, but the Ravens secondary is a lot worse than for sure. Fucking Jets secondary.
Yeah, no, we're in agreement there.
I think that's Bush, fine. I messaged you on Discord with a picture of my account. If I'm missing something, I will try and figure it out. But I have a buy in a deep league next week, so a voucher would help. Alex, if you just have a question, we'll just answer it in the StreamYard call, just so we can get you going. But you said I have a buy in a deep league next week, so okay, you want to ask the question next week, I guess.
Arthur, I know you're joking around because obviously you've been around, so shout out. But I'm just saying, it's looking like my Rico Dowdle bags are paying off in a big fucking way. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's looking like my Ezekiel Elliott over Rico Dowdle take was dumb.
I feel great, dude. And that's like the thing I've noticed is like when there's a consistent drum beat, the thing I've noticed so much this year, especially Coach Speak Index helping it out, sometimes we just got to trust it. Like we heard from the team that Rico Dowdle looked like the best back all offseason, but people were refusing to believe it because he had never done anything in his career.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's hard because like my thought process was, okay, even if let's say Rico is the better running back, I never thought it would end up being a clear starter situation in either direction. Like I thought they were going to be a 50-50 split all year, and I thought Zeke was the guy in half PPR underdog drafts that would probably punch in 8 to 10 touchdowns. And I also didn't know that Prescott would get hurt too.
Well, so I mean, you weren't wrong at the beginning of the year. Like it was until Rico just showed like, yo, like call me. I think Rico Dowdle this year, the way he's been playing, top 15-ish level back in the NFL. That's how he's been playing.
I'm definitely not going that far. I would say he's definitely top 15 by certain metrics, but I would not say he's back in the NFL.
He's top 5 in rushing success rate. He's averaging 4.9 yards per carry with Cooper Rush at quarterback in an inconsistent at best offensive line. Like again, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, the Cowboys are just going to fade drafting a running back next year. It's more so just like, yo, we got to give Rico some flowers because everybody was kind of writing him off coming into the year. And he's just been fucking nails. Like even since the bye, dude, he's had 2 games all year with less than 4 yards per carry, and he's had multiple games with over 6.
Yeah, no, he's been solid. I know you're a Shakir hater, so I guarantee you don't have him ranked high. I have him highest of the group of receivers here.
I mean,
so
I'm playing Waddle.
I mean, you probably would have started Jennings most likely.
Yeah, most likely, given the game.
Assuming, I mean, he didn't start Jennings by the looks of it. Where do you have Waddle ranks? Because we'll have to tie break this
27.
Okay, and I have Shakir 25, and I have Waddle 32. So
I have Shakir. Waddle 27, Shakir at 39, I believe, because I have Cooper at 38.
Dude, I think I've noticed a trend now. You hate St. Brown, you hate Shakir, you just hate slot receivers, I think.
No, because I like JSN.
Yeah. Dude, a guy that gets like 8 to 10 targets a game in a 55-point over-under game has to be a top 30 receiver, in my opinion. Has to be.
That's honestly just a reflection on how good receiver is. I think Waddle, like we've seen in the last few weeks, can break the slate like he has. He's averaging over 20 points per game in the last 3 games. Yeah,
he's been good, but like Shakir has been like literally a top 20 receiver this year in fantasy.
So I posed this question to MVP Radius. I'm pretty sure I fucking know who that is.
Shakir has legit been almost as good as JSN this year, minus the 2 explosion games from JSN.
MVP Radius, I swear to God, I know who that is.
In real life or?
Yes, like I grew up with because I remember that gamer tag on PS4.
Okay, well, maybe Danny knows him. Let's let the record show that Danny would go Waddle and I would go Shakir. I think by average, it would probably be Waddle.
27 and 39 versus 25 and 32, you said?
Yeah.
Like pretty close.
I mean, if we're going by highest ranked, it would go by mine. But if we're going average, it's probably
here. Let's let chat break the tie break. That's how close it is.
Yeah, Shakir or Waddle. Who you guys taking? To me, I'm honestly, I'm just trusting the game environment. I love Waddle this week too. I think they're both great plays. I just think Shakir is basically JSN without the 2 explosion games all year. He's been that good.
Yeah, let's see what the chat says. Would you go with Jalen Waddle against Houston or Khalil Shakir against oh my God, Detroit. I'm blanking. Detroit this week. I fucking knew who it was because we've literally been talking about it all stream. And of course, when you over talk about something, like your brain will skip over it sometimes. I don't know how. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Also somebody commented on your wide receiver tier list. I already started cop. Why am I even watching this? Everyone's saying Shakir.
Yeah, okay. Then put Shakir in. That's fine.
It's a Shakir sweep.
Put Shakir in. Yep.
There we go. Also, for what it's worth, too, if you guys are wondering,
let's make that a bet. By the way, let's make that a bet.
Yeah, we can make it a bet. Yeah. If you guys are wondering to get a question answered, and you commented on my running back tier list this morning before we went live, I went back and answered every single comment on that video. So if you asked a question over there, I did give you an answer. If you guys want to check that out, if you're like repeating your question in the chat. Because you don't know if I answered you or not. But anyways, Pacheco or Rome full PPR projected to lose right now.
You got to go Pacheco.
Yeah, full PPR is tough because Pacheco's not a huge asset in the passing game, but he went from 8 opportunities 2 weeks ago to 18 opportunities last week. And I think you could, and especially if there is weather implications in that Cleveland and Kansas City game, I think you're probably better off going with Pacheco here. But Rome he's an okay, like he also said he's projected to lose. Like in full PPR, Odunze's got probably a higher ceiling, given that he's a receiver who can catch 8 passes in that game. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Pacheco, I think, as well.
Yeah.
AJ with a $20. If you want to search his name up and shoot him a voucher. Quarterback, Hurts or Herbert? You are starting Hurts over Herbert, especially given the ankle injury there. Started Garendo and Juwan, sadly. So he's got
see it on the back end.
17 points, I guess, out of those two guys. Not great.
I don't see it on the back end, by the way.
You don't see it on the back end? Okay, maybe we need to talk to the devs why it's not showing up.
Well, like I see a lot of names here. Like I see our entire Flocker and Mother Flocker list. So like, yeah,
that's what I mean. I think it's only showing subscription names. So maybe the devs need to code it on the back end so that if anybody has ever submitted a question, their name shows up, and maybe they just get a tag that says like Flocker or Mother Flocker on it if they're an actual subscriber versus if they're just somebody who submitted a question. But yeah, we should talk to the devs about that. And then you're going Dowdle over Pacheco pretty easily there.
Yep.
Wide receiver, AJ Brown, McConkey. I mean, you got to play AJ Brown, I think, especially if you're playing Jalen Hurts there.
Yeah. Get the stack.
And then, it really sucks that you played both Garendo and Jawan Jennings. I personally would have played Pacheco over Garendo, especially knowing that Garendo was coming into that game with the foot injury. I have Pacheco 2 spots higher, even where Garendo locked in, but he had an okay game. I mean, Jennings obviously stings that he was in your lineup, but I think that was
you just put Ladin.
Maybe the correct play. I don't know. I actually had Myers ahead of Jennings, so I would have gone with Myers, but
I'm assuming you also have Lad here.
McConkey would be my highest rated here, but
what's perfect about that? So he's optimistic to play, but again, even in the worst case that he wouldn't play, I saw you have Jordan Addison there who plays on Monday night. So that's but like Jordan Addison would be the guy I'd prefer out of those two.
I have Myers higher, but yeah,
we got to make a Jordan Addison versus Myers bet, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the one that we just talked about, by the way?
Shakir versus Waddle and Jordan Addison versus Myers. And it's so funny because literally a couple questions ago, we were talking about Addison versus Waddle, and I am actually higher than you on both of them.
Yeah, I know. Versus Addison. Also, looking back at last week's, let's score these really quick. Dowdle versus Braylon Allen. I think you won that
Mitchell. One, right? Yes. Mitchell. Bro. Fucking no way. That's crazy. The Mitchell from hometown, right? Yeah. I'm not insane.
Danny's reconnecting with childhood friends crazy. Out here.
I clocked that in because like all my buddies had the MVP underscore fucking clan like when we were on PS4 way back in the day. I fucking clocked that in. That is crazy. I've noticed you in here a couple times. I've been thinking, I'm like, is that Mitchell from home? That is fucking insane.
That's wild.
That is insane.
Okay, so that's really strange. Then I don't know why
that's why it's not searching because he's on Mason's code. The only ones that show up for me is FSE.
Oh, okay. So we probably need to ask the devs then that if they ever submit us a question, then they show up as a Flock user, even if their code uses Mason. So that's the reason it's not showing up, Alex. It's because if Mason were searching your Flock username, it would show up for him. But because you used his code and you submitted us a question, it doesn't show up on our end of things.
Yeah, people are saying crazy pull. Yeah, the fact that I fucking clocked that in, that is insane.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, we can ask the devs going forward if anybody ever submits us a question that their names just show up as like maybe there's a tag that says they're not a subscriber or something like that. But anyways, I think we got this question all straightforward. Yep. So we'll go next question. I think we got more that came in, so I can refresh here.
Yeah, and we got the fucking all game streaming on, fucking just spamming the chat, so they got banned. All game streaming on.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. You know what's crazy about all game streaming on? They can only comment if they're a subscriber for 5 minutes or longer. So they subscribed for 5 minutes and then commented that after it waited the 5 minutes,
just to get banned.
Just to get banned, which is wild. Anyway,
it's kind of tippable. I can't lie. It's kind of tippable.
Yeah, this is an insane lineup, by the way. But Higgins, Ladd, or Adams. He says need 2. So Higgins to me is the lock here. I would play Higgins over Adams and Ladd. But Ladd would be the second option. Actually, hold on. Let me take a look.
I have Higgins at 13, Ladd at 14. So that would be how it.
Yeah. So I have it. That's crazy, dude. I have it. Higgins at 16, Ladd at 17, and Adams at 18. They are literally all back to back for me.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that has to be Jason from the YouTube comments, right?
Probably, yes. Probably.
Yes, sir.
So would you so you going Higgins and Ladd with that question then?
For reference, I have Higgins at 13, Ladd at 14, and Adams at 16. So
yeah. It's tough because McConkey's coming in banged up and Adams is playing the Jags. So I think if you were feeling safe about this, Jason, because both Herbert and McConkey are banged up, you could maybe talk me into going Adams over McConkey just because, Rodgers and Adams aren't hurt right now. And that maybe presents a better floor in case McConkey leaves early or something like that. But I would go with, I know my defense pretty well, and we are not going to be able to cover Ladd McConkey at all.
No, you won't. Especially too, because Ladd obviously has that slot ability, and does Zion follow into the slot, or is he just solely outside?
Well, so ironic dynamic here is that our slot corner is a former Georgia Bulldog, Tyke Smith.
Yeah, Tyke Smith. I remember that name.
He nailed Brock Bowers down last week, so maybe this is bad for Ladd McConkey that Tyke Smith is going to be covering him because another Georgia Bulldog
sounds like opium,
fell victim to Tyke Smith. And in the red zone, Tyke jumped a route on Bowers and picked it off too.
I'm not going to lie. That kind of does sound like opium. He's like, yeah, maybe he's just the Georgia Bulldog stopper.
Dude, he held – how many catches and yards did you think Brock Bowers was going to have last week? Like 1 million? I thought that was going to be the case. And they basically clamped him until the end of the game on the garbage time drive.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe he's gonna shut down AD Mitchell next time they play, but AD Mitchell doesn't even get snapped, so that's probably not gonna be an issue. That's the only thing stopping AD at this point.
Yeah, facts. Is there a way to update or change it? Do I have to cancel and resubmit using your guys' code? I believe the only way is that once your subscription runs out, you would resubscribe using our code instead of Nathan. It would obviously be nice if you could just swap them, but the problem is on the back end. Whoever subscribes using our code is how we, divvy up the subscription revenue for that.
Splits,
so obviously that would, be a challenging thing to just people constantly switching. Plus we all have our own individual benefits that we each give for our subscribers. But the only way to do it would either be to make a second account and subscribe to both of us, or to wait until your subscription is over and then resubscribe using ours.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the reason why that happens too, because otherwise if we just allowed it, we're you could switch whenever, it would also just create more hostility with the creators, which we don't want to do. So at the end of the day, it would just be better if any code user can we can give a voucher to, pretty much is what
that's which is an issue that we're going to solve on the back end, I think here. So Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, I guess is the decision here, with Kenneth Walker confirmed out here. So you got Stevenson versus Pollard. I have Pollard a little bit higher, but I am worried about Pollard, man. I think he's quite banged up right now.
He is, but he is expected to play. He's 63 yards away from 1,000. That's all I got, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have him slightly higher.
Tight end is Kincaid here. He's expected to play also. And like I said, even Dalton Kincaid, the guy who's been objectively ass this year, because he's in that Detroit Lions Buffalo Bills game, I got him ranked high, man. And Laporta too. I want pieces of that game. So,
that's respectable.
Wide receivers. So he has Collins, St. Brown, and Nakua already in, and he's deciding between Higgins, McConkey, DJ Moore, Judy, and Stevenson in the flex. So for me, it would be Higgins and McConkey, but it's crazy that you're sitting some of those options.
I believe that's who I also have the highest, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this is
Judy with no Njoku could have like 14 targets today.
He could, yeah. I have Judy ranked at 29 right now, and it feels way too low. But I also just like all of the players who I have ranked ahead. You know what I mean?
I think he has to be a top 24 option based off the projectable volume, because even in a weather impacted game, like Winston's going to throw the ball at least 30, if not.
I had him at 22 before the weather stuff came out. So I did move him down because of the weather. Like the challenging thing for me is, like, objectively speaking, I look at the matchup for DJ Moore and it's not great because he's expected to see shadow coverage for like Gilmore and shit. But when I think about how we do our rankings, it's based on who I would start. Right? It's not based on it is based on how I think they will finish on the week, but like you have to factor in, like, you actually have to start this player over this player. So would I actually rank DJ Moore 23rd? It's like, yes, I have him ranked there because of the, target share and the volume that he gets or whatever, but could he have the wide receiver 38 finish this week? Like, I just don't have the balls to rank him down there and say that you should sit DJ Moore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. And I mean, it's tough. I would actually have Judy ranked a little bit higher than Moore, just because it's just such easy projectable pass.
I think I'm going to move DJ down a little bit, to be honest. I think that's
the thing is too. I mentioned
Jaden Reed ranked. I feel like I have him way too high right now.
I think 40.
See, the problem is, like, his matchup's so good this week.
We said that last week. How many points did he score?
I know.
Wait, Bush. How many points did he score last week? Correct me.
0.
I forget.
0.
No, I'm trolling. Yeah. By the way, fun fact: have you noticed in the Tone Setter Truthers League that the winner of myself and Flet, I believe, will play you next round?
I thought you said Doc was on our side of the bracket.
No. So basically, what happened? I thought he would be, but I guess Flet passed him on the tiebreaker with points 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm playing Flet this week. Very close matchup. I'm projected to win 167 to 151, but he just traded for Breece Hall. So that if Breece Hall is a big game, I'll be like pretty upset. I'll be like, what the fuck? But
yeah, that would kind of suck.
I mean, yeah, like me being the 4 seed and 8 and 6, when I have nearly 200 more points than everybody in this league, I have 2,110 points against, and that would be a top 4 scorer in our league.
Tough scene.
Yeah.
Where do you have Ridley ranked this week? Just out of curiosity.
29.
Yeah, like, see, I have him at 20.
Yeah, I don't think that's outrageous. I mean, honestly, it's just like a really close range of receivers, honestly. Like him, BTJ, Zay Flowers, Jalen Waddle, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Malik Neighbors, DK Metcalf. Like, pick them from a hat. I just wish I didn't get locked in Juwan Jennings. That's all I
feel like every time I look at my rankings, I see something I don't like.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way this week? And it's only just because you like copium your way into certain like things each time you look. But like realistically, there's absolutely no difference from like my wide receiver 19 Cortland Sutton all the way down to my wide receiver 39.
Oh, we need to make a Cortland Sutton bet because I have them way higher than you.
Where do you have him? Him like 12 or something?
Take a guess.
8?
He's my wide receiver 7 this week.
That's crazy. But like
he's averaged over 20 points per game since week 8. And he's got in each of those games, Bush, in each of those games, he's gone in at least 70 yards and or a touchdown since week 8. And now he has a fucking prime matchup against Indy.
Okay, I'll capitulate. I'll move him up to 16 ahead of Higgins, McConkey, and Adams, but I can't move him higher than that.
We have to make a Cortland Sutton bet.
Okay. There's only one player I want to ride with on this bet, and I'm taking Mike Evans over him.
I have them almost back to back. I have Mike Evans in my top
what about
10
McLaurin?
Oh, easily. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, McLaurin versus Sutton. Also, by the way, like McLaurin and Sutton just seem like carbon copies of the same player to me. They're both like number 1 receivers who I don't think are that good. But like they're really good for fantasy this year.
When I saw that Sutton was averaging over 20 PPR points per game since week 8, I thought to my head, oh, so that's why Sal's team turned around, because he traded for Sutton and Sutton ended up being basically a top 5 wide receiver since he traded for him.
Yeah, that's also why my big dog team actually almost advanced was that that Sutton was on that.
He's been fucking nails.
Yeah, he's been so good. But anyways, let's get through the last couple questions here. Spicy's in the back seat. We can maybe quickly flash our underdog stuff and then give a couple people some minutes here to absorb the rankings that we'll show at the end here. So, okay. So Spider Mike, we got his questions answered. Let's go down to obtainable. If it's going to hit next question on me here. Failed to update question status. Okay.
Ramondre.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to this. Wide receiver. Tillman's out. Neighbors. Odunze. Neighbors is the wide receiver for sure. Flex decision is between Pacheco, Smitty, and Irving. And
doesn't
Pacheco.
Sound like Bucky's playing.
Yeah.
Bucky didn't practice all week.
He's playing. He's playing. They already said he's playing today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't he DNP all week?
He LP'd on Friday.
Oh, okay. So apologies for those of you on the site. I ranked it as if he would be out, and actually I'm going to go in my
go fix that really quick because he is. Yeah. I have it. So the way I have it ranked right now is I have Bucky Irving at 24 and Rachaad White at 21 is how I have it ranked currently. I think that's kind of what we're going to look at in terms of the split. I would expect, White to probably get like 15 to 20 touches and then Irving to get like 11 to 16 touches probably. It would be my guess. But I do have Pacheco one spot ahead of Irving, so that's where I would go with there.
I'm moving Bucky to 26.
So who are you going to start here in this question? Devontae Smith or Bucky Irving?
Well, if he's playing, I go Bucky.
You're going to go Bucky even despite the sketchy kind of re-aggravation potential? I would probably go Smith just for that reason and that reason alone. I think they're close enough that I'm just going to take the tiebreaker that Smith's healthy.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. Judy without Njoku, I have as a top 24 option. I think, again, in most leagues, that's going to be a must-start option. So I agree with Mason there.
Yeah, Judy is definitely a must-start option. Like I have, I probably have to move Judy up now with Njoku ruled out. So I'm going to move Judy. I'm going to move him to 22 because I think that's where he belongs.
So I got a question for you now. So I had Rachaad White in my lineup in Tone Sutter Truthers with the expectation that Bucky Irving would be out. Now I'm in a decision. Would you go with Rachaad White with a Bucky Irving active or Calvin Ridley in Tone Center Truther PPR league?
I would play Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I think I'll make that switch.
I like White quite a bit still. I still think he's going to lead the team in touches this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make that switch because again, like it looked for the longest time that Bucky wasn't playing by all the reports, and then now like he's playing. So
yeah, like I don't envy any of you guys, like, and me and Danny are in situations like this in a lot of leagues that we're in too, that have to make a decision between two top 40 receivers this week because there's absolutely no possible right answer. Like, go with the process, stick with what you got, and hope for the best because there's a very good chance you'll be either right or wrong, and there'll be no rhyme or reason to it because there's just so many good projections at wide receiver that profile similarly. And honestly, the same goes for like any running back from like Chuba Hubbard all the way down to like Breece Hall and James Cook, who I have in their early 20s.
Well, bro, even when you're looking down the board, I have like Christian Watson, like just outside of my top 40. And I actually really like him this week.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a
like,
good
it's
option.
Crazy. But here.
Okay. So Le DeRozan here. Raptor, great. Kendra, Tank Bigsby, Tyron Tracy, Sincere. I'm going Tracy over McCormick for sure. And then the flex decision is JMO versus McCormick. I mean, I'm going to be honest, your team doesn't look that great. So give me the fucking ceiling that JMO has, to be honest.
I'd go JMO regardless. Like I said, the usage he has gotten in the last month, because he was always a boom bust volatile wide receiver at the high ceiling. But if he's getting now over a 20% target share and a 24% first read target share in the last 4 weeks, his floor is inherently higher now. Like, and we've seen in the last few weeks, like his dud game was 9.1 PPR points. We saw earlier in the year, his dud games were like 3 points.
Yeah. Sorry. For some reason, the questions aren't sending through. I'm just going to quickly fill them out again. Danny, do you want to go through your pick'ems really quick?
Yeah. Here. Sorry, I was also adjusting my lineup on the other side here. Let me go grab it.
For some reason, these aren't updating the question status, but hopefully DeRozan, Obtainable, and Spider Mike, you guys are listening to this right now because for some reason the questions aren't sending through to them.
I'm a bit lazy. I forgot to put them in the back end, but I'll just like quickly share my screen because that's easy too. Devon Achane higher than 32.5 receiving yards. We are seeing the receiving usage out of them. Houston is a tough defense in terms of a run defense. And the way Achane has been used as a receiver, it hasn't necessarily been like, oh, Alvin Kamara. He's been used as an extension of the run game. Those little quick screens, those little Texas routes. I mean, in fact, we saw last week some Texas screens. He's had 16 targets in his last 2 weeks, and he's gone higher than 32.5 in each of his last 3 games, so I feel good about that. Zach Charbonnet, pretty self-explanatory. No Kenneth Walker. Bell cow usage last week, 22 carries, and I do think this is going to be a very good game in terms of competitive-wise against Green Bay this week. Then we have Tyrone Tracy, very similar case to Devon Achane, higher on the receiving yards. 10 targets last week, 38 receiving yards. Very big underdog for the Giants at home. I do think they supplement his touches and space in the passing game.
Yeah, no, I think those are all pretty sound. I'll whip mine up really quick here. My RB pick'em was Chuba Hubbard higher than 99.5 receiving plus rushing yards. I mean, the Cowboys top 12 against giving up rushing yards to the running back position, top 6 receiving yards to the running back position. No Brooks, no Blackshear. He is going to be a workhorse today. Jonathan Taylor, 76.5 rushing yards. I mean, he's gotten 20 carries in like 6 of his 10 games this year. And he feels like a get right game is coming here. 24th in adjusted fantasy points allowed to the running back position are the Broncos. They're a run funnel defense, not a pass funnel. B-Rob, I know this total went up way higher than what it was when I got it here at 79.5. I believe Spicy said it was up to like 90 or something like that. But yeah, it's still a good pick either way. Like the Saints are 4th worst against the run, and Brian Robinson is finally probably healthy after a number of weeks where he was not. For most of the middle of the season there, he was playing through something. So if you have another one, we can quickly go through that. Just do it quick because we want to Spicy. I don't know if we're going to even have time to build one out because I want to show them our rankings here before we do it.
Cortland Sutton, like I mentioned, in the since week 8, he's been absolutely nailed. 70+ receiving yards in each of those games. You're taking the first quarter receiving yards because he has nearly a 30% target share in those games. You really just need him to catch one of those passes. And I feel like I make this case every time. And these hit less often than you think in your head. But when they do hit, they're with guys that are ultra involved, which is what makes me feel safe about Cortland Sutton. I mean, it's not like with Indianapolis, we're really worried about them completely taking up the entirety of the first quarter clock, because as we know on the other end, the Indianapolis offense is volatile. So it's not a case where I think Denver can just be, oh, they're one drive in the first quarter, Sutton doesn't get there, and now you lose that pick. I think they're going to have multiple drives in the first quarter because of how Indianapolis offense is being brought up. We do have Mike Evans higher than 68.5 receiving yards. I think I'm going to make this case basically for the rest of the year. 410 yards off of 1K. We've seen him go 68, 69, and 118 in his last 3 games. 85 yards per game since the bye, or not since the bye week, since he returned from injury. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is a tough matchup, but the team's trying to get him to that total. And then we got Amari Cooper higher on the fantasy points. 14 targets in 53% of the snaps last week. We've talked about the game environment. And I mean, you're high on Amari Cooper, so it's pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah, the sneaky, like, sometimes these Gutalytics takes actually pay off. Mike Evans does really well in Los Angeles. Every time we've played at SoFi, he's just scorched. If you guys remember, there's a GIF of him doing the LeBron touchdown celebration when he torched Marcus Peters when they played for the Rams. Like, I think Evans had like 2 touchdowns on 160 yards in that game or something. For whatever reason, whenever we play a Los Angeles team in SoFi Stadium, Mike Evans just absolutely cooks.
Yeah, I mean, fucking we'll take it, eh?
But anyways, let's quick flash our rankings to anybody who has some tough decisions here, just because we did not get to virtually any questions that were in the chat here. So you can't see my question is the first question in the chat. Okay, we'll quickly answer that one then as well.
Mike said his submission was Spider Mike. Would that change your suggestion to sit Judy?
Spider Mike, would that change your suggestion? Oh, okay. So would I start T. Higgins? So would I start Judy over T. Higgins or Ladd McConkey? No, I wouldn't. I would still start T. Higgins and Ladd McConkey.
That's how I would play it as well. And then Trident says I sent in a start sit payment as well. So he says it's at the top of the chat, but like check it on the site just so we can check it off.
Yeah, I don't actually see it. It says I don't see it on the site for whatever reason, but it says start sit Brees or Neighbors. Thanks. Good luck at the playoffs.
It's a standard league with modifiers. It looks like both modifiers are a 40+ yard reception or run, plus an extra 5 points for a 40+ yard touchdown or run.
That's got Brees all over it to me.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I agree.
He's the big play guy.
Yeah, good matchup as well.
I in a vacuum, I'd probably start Neighbors, but given that it's a standard league with modifiers for big plays, it's probably Brees.
Yep. Jack, yes, we just went through the pick'ems. I would have loved to get the short out. Unfortunately, was quite the long night for me. It was out with my friend. It was his 24th birthday. We ended up going out to Toronto, so didn't get home till very late in the morning. But I was sober for the most part. I had one birthday shot with him, but again, like I've said on the stream before, I'm trying to be disciplined.
Okay.
Manage the hernia. Sorry.
So wide receiver range, I'm sure a lot of you guys have questions about some of these players. Again, we talked about Higgins and McConkey and some of those guys already. I'm starting McConkey with confidence, even despite the the injury that he's coming in with. Adams and Garrett Wilson are both top 20 receivers for me because I love the matchup there. Ridley, I have ranked high. There's Judy. A lot of people have asked about him. I got him at 22 now. Khalil Shakir, I love the game environment there. Amari Cooper also ranked pretty highly. And then again, this range, if you told me that you had DJ Moore way higher than this, if you had Jacoby Myers way higher than this, Thielen way higher than this, Waddle way higher than this, Downs way higher than this, Addison, all these guys are all very, very similar in my opinion. Go with whatever your process tells you. If your gut's telling you something, obviously go with that. It's the playoffs. We should have said this at the beginning, but it is the fantasy football playoffs. If you think we are wrong, go with your gut.
Trust yourself, man.
If we tell you something and you're like, you know what, I don't really think that's the case or whatever, go with your gut because this is the time of year. Make your own mistakes. Like we can give you as much advice as we can here. And if you believe something to be true or there's an edge that you know about because maybe it's your favorite team or something like that, go with your gut.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not having any of that. I can't believe you told me to do this. We're not dealing with that bullshit because at the end of the day, we'll give you the advice that we can. We'll go through our own process, but you got to be a fucking enough of a man to make the decision yourself. If you're going to go after the fact and say, well, this person told me to start this and it cost me a pants, none of that fucking shit. None of that fucking shit.
So you got it. I said it the nice way. Danny said it the mean way.
Hey, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's I'll let you rip through it in a second here as well.
We Buy Homes also said he submitted this on the site. So non-PPR, Hall, Pollard, or White need upside. Your upside is Brees Hall.
Yeah, your upside is definitely Brees Hall. I don't know why the site is like glitching out on me right now, but
yeah, no, you're good there. We got through him. We got good there.
Yeah. Okay, so running back position. A lot of people probably have questions relating to Brees Hall. That is where he ranks for me. You have him at 15, so you're a little bit higher on Hall than I am. I have him behind James Conner, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Rico Dowdle, Brian Robinson, Aaron Jones, Chuba Hubbard, some of those guys. If you're looking where we have Charbonnet, both of us have them as RB1s. Anything you want me to pull up for you here? And then you can just kind of chat through it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in particular. For the most part, again, we have some micro differences, but like we kind of pointed out, like a big difference in the rankings, it looks like, oh no, you're way higher on Aaron Jones than me. Well, they're similar projections from 13 to 24 for me, to be honest.
Yeah, you have Alvin Kamara at 17 this week.
Yeah, tough matchup.
That to me, that's just incorrect. He is the best utilization score of any running back in football.
He's going to get receiving work. I'm just very concerned about the matchup.
Okay.
Very concerned. And we did see Kendra get a little bit more usage last week. We have seen inconsistent goal line usage for Alvin Kamara. Again, he could completely prove me wrong here, but I'm just a little bit more cautious on that regard.
Okay, sorry. We have two more questions. Finally, the site worked for me here, so I'll just pull these up really quick.
Yep.
Okay, so Lenny, I believe this is the one he was talking about, which was Brees Hall, Neighbors, and Brees Hall versus Neighbors, I believe is the one he said earlier in the chat, and he said it was standard scoring with all the bonuses. So yeah, that is the Brees Hall side there, and then D Merckx. This lineup here, you got Garendo locked in. I guess we'll just take a look at it. Was Brees, Pollard, and Rashad White, and then also Jaden Reed and those type of guys there. I don't mind living dying by the Brees sword. In this question, I think he is my highest ranked of this group, so I'm going with Brees here too.
Yeah, I have that the same way. By the way, Kix is saying Bucky reported to have a relatively full workload. Is what?
Yeah, so the way that the Bucks handle like injuries, by the way, is usually that like
they'll play them early, and if he gets
hurt, they play. We don't usually have this ghosting nonsense where somebody like is active but doesn't do much.
So is it like if he's even like hurt but he's ready to go, you guys will give him the workload until he can handle it, pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah. I would be way more concerned about a re-injury to Bucky than I would be about him not getting a full snap share. I would be way more concerned about a re-injury. And also, I just want to go over Spider Mike's really quick, just because we missed it from before. Go Stevenson, and then tight end was Kincaid. We talked about. Then was McConkey and Higgins. Just because it didn't go through when I sent it to him, so hopefully it goes through this time. It is 1 p.m. right now, so it might be too late.
Tight end rankings we'll quickly show, and then obviously we'll
yeah, you can pull those up if you want.
Yeah, I will do that now. In terms of tight end rankings, I almost went to the create rankings tab rather than the.
Then Smitty is the other one for obtainable, and then DeRozan here was Tyrone Tracy, and then the flex was Jamison Williams, as we said there. So all those questions are answered. We will stay in here for another minute or two because we're going to build out a pick'em slate for the 4 p.m. slate. So if you guys want to stick around here for another minute or two, we'll do that. We got Spicy Hot in the back seat after Danny shows the tight end rankings. Yeah, so as we can see here, we both have Bowers at 1. We both have McBride at 2. We just basically had Kittle and Kelsey flip-flopped here. Again, like pretty comparable there. I will say, looking back, maybe I probably should have had Travis Kelsey higher because there is another little gem of this matchup. This is a hometown game for Travis Kelsey traveling on the road in Cleveland. He is actually from Cleveland Heights, Ohio. So who knows? Maybe this is a little homecoming game for him. But I mean, Kelsey versus Kittle, like you can't go wrong there if you have either. Hawkinson, you have at 5, I have at 7. I had Jonnu at 6. You have Laporta higher than me. You have Kraft a little higher than me. I have Andrews a little higher than you. Who's the main difference here that I have that you don't? Okay, who do I have? Njoku, right? Okay, yeah, Njoku is out, so I took him out.
I took him out of my rankings on the back end, but maybe that hasn't adjusted on the full.
You probably just didn't hit submit after you did it.
Yeah, let me.
Anyways, we can pop that in the back seat. Spicy, you ready to go to get us?
Okay, here.
Get us a pick'em slate made here.
Yeah, should be good now. I swear I took him out, but
yeah. Can we look at these really quick? I want to see our Best Ball Mania team that we have going here, and then also our Pug team that advanced.
Yeah.
So we drafted these on stream because Spicy obviously is our backseat drafter here. So we haven't really had anybody play. This is a Jordan Love, Lamar Jackson, Jacobs, Connor, Spears, right? Okay, pretty decent running back core. If you want to, I mean, Connor and Jacobs kind of got
Jefferson Collins. Okay, go down the receivers.
Yeah, Jefferson Collins. Kirk is out, which sucks.
Addison Thomas.
Addison's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks that we had McCarthy and not Darnold. Like he said, this was an earlier team that we drafted, so we took McCarthy with the anticipation that double stack of Addison and
the thesis was strong.
Yeah, I mean, if Darnold would have been the pick there, it would have been a lot better though.
Oh yeah, 100%.
This one we got a good performance. Was that out of Nakua? Maybe. Oh, Stafford. Yeah, okay, that sucks.
Stafford. Yeah, Barkley, Cook, Chubb, Wright, Dobbins got us the early points. That's a strong RB core. Dobbins kind of made up for the production. Now Chubb could potentially give us
wide
that.
Receivers pretty weak here though, outside of the first couple.
Yeah.
Tight end, Laporta, and who else? Kittle. That's good, obviously.
Yep. BBM7. Was this dude? We had one of them that was ranked very, very high. Was it BBM7?
It might have been.
Stroud, Jones. Probably not this one, no.
Pacheco, Moss, Chuba. I mean, Chuba, Tracy, Pacheco, all still live right now. Sucks that Dobbins went down for us.
If we can advance that team, look at the receivers.
Yeah. So what is that? Oh, St. Brown, Collins, Cup. Cup sucks.
And Judy.
Yeah, this is a good looking team. If we can sneak, especially if we can sneak a 0 from Cup through, he could be really unique in the next round.
So is it the final? There was one of them I know that was like scaling for him.
Maybe it's this one.
Hurts, Caleb, Kamara. Yeah, it was this one. Kamara, Harris, Brown, Chuba, Bucky.
Yeah, that's insane. That's an insane running back core. And then you got Chase, Evans, DJ Moore, Keenan. Double stacked Keenan and DJ Moore as well. Godwin going down really sucks because he would have made this team really good. And then Goddard, Hawkinson, and Kraft are all hits. Goddard's out for the year now, which sucks, but he gave us some weeks during the year.
Even with no Godwin, that team is sexy.
Yeah. Okay, then let's see the Pug team, and then we'll just build out a quick pick'em slate here.
Yep. We'll take a look here. 5-man pods.
So what do you have to advance? Just 1 out of 5? If you go hit the I on this draft?
Yeah, I believe
there should be an I there that says if you go to the rules. Okay, yeah. So you have to advance 1 out of 5, probably twice, most likely. But yeah, let's see what this team looks like, because this was a single entry tournament, I think. The Pug.
Allen, Levis, Achane, Swift is questionable, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up playing, but yeah, he's questionable right now.
Do we have Chase Brown? It probably will have to be a wide receiver week for us. Now, unfortunately, I do see Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, Chase Brown and Achane could carry that for us, and Ayuk is dead, which sucks. But
yeah, the receiver depth.
Hopkins, Shakir, Palmer. I mean, Tez Walker and Bourne are pretty much zeros.
Kincaid back.
Yeah, Kincaid and Schultz. I think I actually kind of like both of those guys this week. This could be a sneak it through and see what happens type of thing, but not the greatest of teams. Let's rip a quick pick 'em for anybody else that's still in here, and then we'll
go watch the games.
Yeah, go watch the games here. So, who do you like this week? We were talking about bets. I mean, you love
Jordan Addison might have to be one.
You talked about Thielen quite a bit. You want to do a Thielen one?
Yeah, I like Thielen a lot here. Let's just check what his line is at. Now, unfortunately, because the game
this game started at 1, right? Yeah,
that's what I mean.
At 1. Don't worry about the games that started at 1. We'll just do the late slate.
Go to the 425. So you really like the game environment for the Lions.
I like St. Brown to score. I like St. Brown to score today.
Pick it then.
Yeah, give me St. Brown to score.
And go a little lower. By the way, it's also at a multiplier of 1.1, so we like that. Not touching the Pittsburgh Philly. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Chargers.
Yeah, go to the Bucks. Go to the Bucks Chargers. There's got to be something we can find in there.
Oh, I mean, I guess I got to take a Cortland Sutton. He's my wide receiver 7 this week.
Yeah, you should take a Sutton. Let's do a 3 pick here. Who do we like in this game? I like Cade Otton, 3.5 receptions is kind of interesting. We got the report that Bucky is expected to get near a full workload. Do we want to take his rushing yards there? Maybe it's a little discounted because of the injury concern. I don't trust it, to be honest.
Don't trust it?
No, I don't trust it.
Because the thing is, he could get 30 yards on a carry and then get hurt on that.
Yeah, let's rip a Sutton one here. Do you want to do receptions or receiving yards or touchdown?
I like the receiving yards, but I'm also cool with
to be honest.
We'll do a touchdown then. I'm honestly cool with either. Like I said, he's gone over 70 in each of his games since week 8 and/or a touchdown in that stretch.
Yeah,
he's genuinely been awesome.
I kind of like Harrison to have a decent day if you want to go down to the Cardinals game.
Wait, am I tripping? Is there 2 Monday night games and no Sunday night game?
No, there's a Sunday night game. There's just there's 2 Mondays.
Gotcha. Yeah, let me it's pretty weird.
Okay. Actually, you know what? I take that back. Go back to the Bucks game. I feel like I got a better read on that game.
Yeah. I'll let you. Actually, I mean, I'll collaborate with you because we're both.
Okay, so
do we want to make a 4-part? You get 2, I get 2 then.
Yeah, I tend to just like the Cade Otton receiving yards. To be honest, I like the Cade Otton receiving yards here.
I like that. So we'll take that, and then go to a later game here. Just don't touch the Monday night because obviously I'll make a short on that.
You want to do a 4-parter?
Yeah, we'll do a 4-parter. We'll just do 2 picks each. Go to New England, Arizona. Let's take a look at that. I do like. I like James Conner. Do I want to take the rushing yards here, or do I want to take?
Good luck to you as well, Mason.
What are you feeling here? Connor touchdown or Connor rushing yards? By the way, you too as well, Mason. I appreciate that.
Connor touchdown for sure. If I was going to go with one of the 2.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Also
it is
a 0.9er, so it makes the entry a little bit better. We don't have a profit boost or anything, do we? I saw profit boost. That might have been an NBA thing.
50%
NHL, okay, FIFA, college football or college basketball or whatever. So yeah, let's roll with just a 10 bone here, regular entry,
sir. And I will go watch the game after this.
All right, so that's the picks we're rolling with: St. Brown touchdown, Sutton touchdown, Cade Otton receiving yards, and Connor touchdown too. So appreciate you guys for joining us. Good luck in your playoff matchups. Hopefully you guys win. Good luck in your underdog best ball teams. Good luck in your dynasty teams. Everything you guys got rolling today. Hopefully you guys come out on the other side. We'll see you in week 16.
Listen to this. CD Lamb had a 25-yard catch called back by an illegal formation from his tackle for not lining up on the line of scrimmage.
Sounds like a bad coach team to me.
And a backup